Hey guys, I thought we'd do a simple update video, exactly what's going on with my Wander, my characters and Harbinger League in general. At the start of the league I kept you up to date with daily update videos. They sort of petered out, which I know is a bit disappointing, but they're really hard to do. To play for like 10 hours and then, you know, edit videos and everything, it becomes really almost impossible to do on your own. So we'll do an update video. As you can see, we're playing a Wander. This is not the first time we've tried this Wander out, and it's probably not the last time. Been trying to get him going, and I think he's now at a stage where we're happy and we can show exactly what a Wander can do. And yes, this is an expensive build, but I'll sort of break it down as to exactly what is needed and what I feel isn't, and just some thoughts on it really, and I'll run some maps to show you how it all works out. So I've been farming the lab for currency to put into a build. For me personally, one of the best things about certain builds are scalability. Like if I run the lab and make 50 exalts and I make my lead sprinkler build, there's only like so far I can realistically take it with like tier 1 strength and resists, and that's pretty much it. Where with a Wander you can have crazy opal rings with LE damage, lightning to attacks, accuracy, you know, this doesn't have wed on it, and you can just do some really good things with scaling. You could get a crazy amulet. I'm using a Bisco's. You could get +1 Esh's mirror. You could get level 4 enlighten and empower. Hell, you could even get a +1 Queen of the Forest, or, you know, you could, instead of having kinetic blast on here, which I don't really need, I could get +2 barrage. There's a lot of ways to sink currency into it, and that is one of the main reasons I'm farming the lab and able to stay like sort of focused and positive and grind, because I'm grinding for something. Whereas my other builds, they sort of didn't scale, so I sold them all and made this build. This build is a Pathfinder Wander. It uses 2 Headhunter jewels, which work really well, but with the Headhunter on top, it's so much better. Obviously, a Headhunter is super expensive, but I grinded the lab for this. This wasn't an ancient orb. This wasn't luck. I grinded and sold 1C gems and finally managed to purchase it, as you saw in the video. So, effectively, what we're getting is obviously some LE damage. This is a build by... if you look it up on the forums, it's called the Tempest Wander. The guy helped me out so much. We had him in Discord and we figured out what was going wrong with the build because I lacked single target. We're now at 13.8k with Magic Find gear on. We go to about, I think we go to about 17, 18 single target whilst in our hideout, which is so much better. If we put our other gear on. So he helped me out a lot with the build, and it's got a lot better. Effectively, if I was to get any more levels, I'd probably go here and pick up this crit node here if I got like 3 or 4 more levels. And I was thinking of maybe dropping one of these inspired learning jewels and maybe picking up some, I'm not too sure, like a crit chance node, or maybe these 2 nodes here for some multi. But this is what I've been doing. I've been working on this Wander build, spending my currency into it. We finally got the added lightning Vinctors. We've had the Ruby Sun since like the start of the league as it dropped for us. And we're just using some gold rims and some Sedemas and Abiscos and just running race course really when I feel like it, if I'm not in the lab. The build is fast, it's fun. We also had to buy, I bought these pots, they were like 6C each. Adrenaline flask, diamond flask, jade flask, and you can see like when I press it, like how long they last. I'm pretty fast for like, you know, a decent length of time mixed with all the mods. So we'll show you some gameplay now, as I'm sure that's what everyone is interested in, but I just wanted to say that I've been working a lot on this build. I've been farming for it and it's coming together nicely, and currently, yeah, it's killed Maze of the Minotaur, but I had some Headhunter mods. I've yet to go in without crazy amount of mods, but the build is based around mods. So if I get a Val Breach, which is also another thing to spend, it probably can do Guardians. If I got +2 Barrage, it definitely could. So the build is basically you stack up Esh's mirror and you press all your pots and you try get Headhunter mods. Now you can look at this and say this build is, you know, it's so expensive. It's only running a tier 11 map. But for me, it's nice to have a build that scales, right? If I'm going to farm the lab on stream for like 5-6 hours and make, like yesterday we made 17 Exiles, I want a build that I can put money into and it scales. It doesn't make sense to play Brutus Lead Sprinkler with Sunder clear speed if I can play at this level of speed and, you know, and make currency and have fun. Like, this is fun. Like, the last time I had a headhunter, I really didn't have a good enough build to sort of use it, right? So, you know, if you put the money in, it's super fast, it clears, and it can deal with bosses. I'll show you on this one how it handles bosses. And it's got that scalability. It's sort of, I guess, kind of infinite. So people are saying, you know, Wanda's overpowered, look at it, it runs through maps and blows everything up. But to be honest, without putting this much currency into it, it's not as good. It has small, little incremental improvements where spending like 250 chaos on a pair of boots, you notice like, right, now I've got like this sick pair of boots that I can craft wed on. I can actually readjust my resists and get a more effective damage ring rather than going out of my way and sort of getting a sort of balancing ring. You know, you get those rings that have life resists, but they're kind of just, they're balancing out your character and it's not really what you want. So you can see here, you know, here are some tier 11 bosses. I don't look at this and go, wow, that is amazingly quick. But I didn't have any headhunter mods there. You could always pop a Val Breach, but I don't have one of those because they're too much money at the moment. And I've just been really enjoying the Wanda. I didn't enjoy Spider Forest, so last night I unshaped Spider Forest because I don't think that's very good. There's just so much backtracking that for this build, like if you take a look now, so I'm at 47k damage. I'm at 78, so this is stacking up with Esh's Mirror, right? But with Spider Forest, say I'm at like 69k now, you know, and I go onto a boss, I can kill it. But if for some reason I've had to backtrack and I can't find the boss, I just lose all momentum. And for a build like this, as the guide owner said, you need some momentum, some speed, some violence, and that's what it's been about. So it's really nice to have a build that I've looked at and I think, you know, I've put currency into it and it's slowly getting better. If we have a look at the other gear that I'm using, basically I normally use Thunder Fists. You could get +1 Thunder Fists. And these are the boots that I purchased. They had 30 fire on them, crafted. We took that off. We got the enchant, and we can craft wed on them. Now these were 250 chaos. You might look at them and go 2 resists and 25 move speed and life. But those were the only ones up I could find, so I had to pay that. And they've got the ability to craft wed on them, which again will be a small incremental improvement. And it's probably not going to go, wow, like, you know, you've put wed on your boots, you know, this is it, you're going to one-shot shape or something. But all the things help, and it's just been nice to have like a sort of currency sync character with a fast playstyle. Before it looked like this, before my character looked like this, I effectively was still able... Hey, look at that. Stream RNG, 6 link. Before I was able to do a map as fast as this, I was blasting just as quick. I was just struggling on bosses. You can get it going for cheap. You can just get a Piscata's Wand, 2 Headhunter Jewels, gear him up, and he will blast. Like, if I was to take the Headhunter off, which I can't because it's giving me strength, and I've done it on my stream as well, it doesn't really change that much. You're still just as fast. You still get the mods. It's just not quite as crazy. You don't ever get the mod where you go super size. You get it very, very rarely. Whereas with the Headhunter, obviously, it's just that little bit extra on top. But I just wanted to do an update video, as it's been a while since I've sort of shown you a build that I'm playing, as everyone's just been watching the lab, and you can see how, even with just an Alk and Go style, with 100 Atlas, you get a lot of returns. I haven't Sextant blocked. Sorry, that's a lie. I have Sextant blocked, but I'm not using Sextants because they're so expensive, which might sound backwards as fuck. But basically, the way mine is I Sextant block them, and then I just use the Sextants that I get. I don't like go to PoE trade and buy like 50 Sextants because I just find it's not that worth. I just end up using the Sextants I get, and then you know, this is an eye level 86 link. I don't know what we could do with that. We can keep that and have a look. But you know, that's kind of what's been going on, and we'll run a map with some Sextants so you can see maybe the difference. But you do get a lot more monsters, but it's not so much the monsters you're doing it for. You're doing it because you get to sustain maps a lot better. But honestly, I'm not having any trouble sustaining maps in my current build. This could be okay. Minion damage with some resists. We might keep that. I might sell. So if we put on some Sextants here, I don't need to explain Sextant blocking, but if I do, I'll just say it quickly that, you know, you can do this. You can chisel all your maps. You can alcohol your maps for pack size. You know, you can scour these. You can get pack size. This has got 12 pack size. This has got no pack size. You can spend a lot of currency rolling your maps. But honestly, you just saw without me rolling my maps, I still got a load of map returns. And I didn't do any Sextants. This is like, when you do Sextants, my thinking is you pretty much break even. Like, you don't lose money doing Sextants, but I don't really find you gain that much. And some, like, say for example, I do these 3 maps, and they turn out to be not very rewarding, then I've lost all this money. This is probably 5C. I think these are 3C, so 8. So this is costing me 9C to Sextant. So I've got to at least get 9C extra, right, out of these 3 maps, extra than what I would do normally. So that's quite a push. So Sextant blocking, as a quick 1-second thing, is literally you just Sextant like maps that touch other maps. So I put a bad Sextant on this that gives no pack size. So then when I Sextant this one, this has less chance to get something good. This got Onslaught, which is doesn't do anything. Which then when I Sextant this one, it makes it easier to roll something bad. So now when I Sextant this one, I can only really get good mods that give me stuff. Like this one, can't take reflected damage, additional packs, bosses accompanied by bodyguards that drop additional maps. So what happens is once you've Sextant blocked, costs a little bit to set up, but once you've done it, every Sextant you then find you can just chuck on, and it's never going to be a bad Sextant. You're not going to get slipstreams, you're not going to get, you know, yeah, you're just not going to get a bad mod. So it sort of costs money to save money in a way, which I think's fine. But you can see out of the 3 maps, we've kind of got to get 9C more than we would have done normally, which typically for me isn't possible. I don't really get it, but you can see already, if you were paying attention to the last ones, there are little extra packs everywhere. There definitely are extra packs. So if you were doing this for XP, or just you wanted to level up a bit faster, yeah, with XP, or just have some fun, you're not really going to lose much money, but I don't think you make that much more. Also, you get annoying mods, like this could be a bit of a rip. Yeah, sometimes you get, it's just kind of annoying actually, because I just lost 10% XP. So part of the reason why I actually don't like Sextanting is you can look at that and you can go, 100 Exalt build just died. But part of the playstyle, well, the playstyle of this build is to get all your stacks up, run up on the boss, and DPS him down with your barrage, right? When you roll Sextants, most of the Sextants are contains additional packs that deal X damage. That X damage is always kind of fucking you, but kind of importantly, it always puts people in bubbles, which for me makes the actual mapping style way less enjoyable, because everyone's in a fucking bubble that you can't really DPS down, typically. This map hasn't been so bad for it, but when you do get it, you get a lot of bubbles, and it just becomes not as... You can't Val Power Siphon, and for me personally, I don't really do Sextanting because I do get the odd death if I don't play it perfectly, and it is a costly, but it's not a loss. You don't really lose money doing it. So you can see here, if I run up with, you know, my my things, and I DPS him down, you know, I can do it without dying. You just have to wake up a little bit more and play it a little bit better. And honestly, the whole point of this build for me personally is just to blast shit without thinking like, oh, I've got to go inside this bubble, I've got to dodge this. So Sextanting is something I just do occasionally for a bit of fun, when I just want to see some big pack size. So, you know, you can also... One of the reasons I died there was I had no charges. You can always just pot out. If you're playing hardcore, you didn't want to die, or you could just portal out and... yeah. There's always that option. So we'll go for like this one. So ideally, I'd like to get to like level 98 with this character. The highest I've ever been is 96. And honestly, unless I'm doing beachhead rotations, which for me are insanely boring, I won't be leveling up. So this is probably like the final form of the character, which is why I'm sort of updating you. So what it does, this is temp chain, so I'm kind of slow, is you can just run around. You can also use a chill of corruption as well. I could use a chill of corruption instead of an extra headhunter jewel, and I could run around and I could Val Powered Siphon all the time, which is super fun. But for me, this is the build. Even in temp change, you can see it's not really that slow. Just a blast shit, and I'm really enjoying it, and I just thought I'd update you with how it's going. Again, you can run up on the boss. Now that we know it's got bodyguards and I'm awake, you can play it a little bit different, you know. You can sort of back off this guy, you know, pop your ruby flask, get some extra projectiles. This guy, get close to him, and you can kill him without dying. Whereas on my other build, a few weeks ago when I was playing this Wanda, I just had no single target. And now I'm able to kill them with some magic find, which for anybody that has been playing this build knows it's difficult to get the single target up and running. So being able to do it with all your magic find gear on is great. Because obviously there's a lot of scaling. I could have a damage amulet if I was doing guardians, 2, you know, damage boots and gloves. I could have like attack speed gloves and not use, you know, there's all kinds of stuff you could do. But you know, it's good fun for stuff like this, where you get these moments where your character goes, you know, 50 foot up into the sky, if you get the correct mods, and I'm just having good fun with it, and I thought I'd share it with you. We completed 36 challenges, so I got the MTX. Can see it around my character now, and I think this is probably the most fun build I've had, which a couple of weeks ago I said it's not worth the money. Opinions change, I guess. The build is... It's hard to say it's worth the money because it is so much money, and currently it's still not Guardian viable for me and the way I like to do Guardians. So it's hard to say it's worth the money, but it hasn't been not worth the money. It's a really fun playstyle, and I'm fully enjoying playing it and min-maxing it out and just trying to, you know, have a good time with the build. So I think we've got one more map left, and I just want to say thanks for the support. Really, there's been a lot of shitty comments on YouTube. Like the other day, I made a video about world's fastest Uberlab, which anybody with like a modicum of sense would know that it's a piss take, and clearly an 8-minute 50 run isn't the fastest ever, but it was fast for me, You know, it was the fastest run of the day. I got all the keys. It turned out to be a pretty good Uber run. I thought I'd show it. And there's always one guy, like one guy legit said, I'm gonna have to call you out on this bullshit. You keep false advertising, which is also ironic because I can't even advertise on my channel anymore because it's not advertiser friendly. So I make no money off YouTube, and I just do it for the fun. And you know, when you get called out like that, you just think, oh man, like, come on, like, have some fun. But there have been people that have been supporting me. We've had I think 6 subscribers now, which honestly, to most people, yo, it's 6 subscribers, people get that in like 20 seconds. Honestly, I'm a small stream, having that support is crazy to me. We've got, you know, we've been consistently going into the viewer count of number 20, which for me is like, coming from like a few weeks ago where I had no viewers, I'd stream and nobody would ever be in chat and I'd be talking, and you know, but it's going great now. So I just wanted to say thanks for that. And this is the last map, but here's the Wonder Carry. You can see, you know, it can blast some shit. It still can blast the trash of a tier 16, and I have killed the Guardians, not the pit one, but I have killed I'm getting there, you know, 3 of them, and there's still, you know, you still could scale this up, +2 barrage if you really wanted to. You could get the crazy Ellie rings, and there we go. I thought I'd just show you that quick little video. That is it. If you want to look up the character, you know, you can go on my chat. I think it's !profile, and you can see like what's been going on. I'll link his guide in the description, and pretty much we're going to be going back to the lab to try and make some money. We've got 1 Exalt 300 Chaos left, kind of down in the dumps, and I'm probably going to try craft some opal rings, which is going to be expensive as fuck, and I probably won't end up hitting anything, but I think that's what the goal is now, is to try and craft something for this build. So if you enjoyed this, thumbs up, thanks for all the support. I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully you have a good day and find some good stuff in PoE.